and welcome to another episode of Podcast the Wicked. And I am Bill,
I'm Metal Rose.
and we're happy to be back giving you another episode. And today's episode, we're going to talk about our three most influential records and how they've changed our lives and what they mean to us. And I just figured this would be a kind of an interesting episode to talk about some things and just go from there.
Absolutely. So, what do you want to get started? Do you want to start with your first?
Sure. So my first will have to be Horror Show.
Rock on.
And for the reason why Horror Show is because this is the album I discovered Iced Earth. This was the first album I ever bought of Iced Earth. Actually, it's sort of a lie. I bought Something Wicked and this album the same day. But this album was the reason that I even got into Iced Earth, because like I've said in many stories before, I kept seeing an advertisement for this record in a magazine, and I was like, I have to get that because I was a horror show, just a horror show nut, and I loved the horror movies at the time, and it was my favorite genre for a long time. And I just loved the artwork, and that's what drew me to this. And I actually think there was actually one of the flyers that actually showed some of the characters down at the bottom of it. And then I was like, yeah, I definitely got to get that. So that's what got me into Iced Earth. And from the first moment I put this in my player and heard it to today, it's still my favorite album of all time. And like I said, it just it changed my life and made me an Iced Earth fan, and been hooked ever since.
That's super cool. I always thought it was interesting because Richard Christie is such a horror guy as well, that was his first album with Iced Earth. I'm like, what a lucky guy he is.
Right.
He's enjoying the horror situation, and I don't know if you guys know, but he's in the newest it's that Art the Clown movie, Terrorizer. He's in Terrorizer 3, so he's finally
okay.
A lot of Richard's dreams are coming true, and it's all horror related. So
nice.
I don't know, just on a side note. But right. Yeah, that's so cool. It's such a good album, and everybody bought that. It sold out on the Circle site. The horror show album. It's completely sold out, both versions. 500 copies of each, 1,000, bam, gone.
Yeah.
So it really must resonate with a lot of people, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to mention something right quick to those who may catch this podcast either tonight or tomorrow or sometime. There is a sale going on the Iced Earth merch site, and it's 25% off all products. And I think it's 35% off of all vintage items.
Oh, wow. Great plug, man. I didn't see that yet, but that's great. Yeah, definitely check that out this weekend, the whole Black Friday thing.
Here's the funniest thing, though, right? And this is what's crazy. I don't know who's running their website for them, or their merch's website, but they even have products that are sold out discounted.
Yeah, maybe they need to update that. Maybe that should be mentioned somewhere. I'll see if maybe one of his friends can let him know to just get them to take that stuff down. There was a typo once on the site, and I was able to get that fixed. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some things that are back in stock or going to be in stock, they should at least put on there back in stock soon or something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd also really like to see them update that Facebook picture, but I'm not sure how all of that would go. But yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the site right now. It's the sold out Hell Rider vinyl.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. I'll take some notes. So my first influential album, it's going to surprise everybody, but we were sort of talking about it at the last podcast. It's going to be Incorruptible, which was my first Iced Earth album, which is sort of pathetic just because it's the last one that they put out really as a group. But it really turned me on to it. My bass player from Order of the Rose, my Iced Earth tribute band, bought this for me. He said, I want the new Iced Earth record, and let's just get it. So we got it, and I just became really into it ever since. I started showing all my friends. I'm like, check out this band, like this is
Yeah.
crazy. And Raven Wing is like it really resonates with me. It like hits my heart pretty hard.
Song.
So
yeah. Oh, and speaking of that album, actually they have the Black Flag poster in the website there on discount too.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
that is super sick.
Because I know, I think one time they had it in there, and I don't know if it sold out or they took it down or something, but I know it's back now and it's like discounted. So
Black Flag really resonates with me too, and I know, like, I'm a descendant of Commodore John Barry, who was the father of the Navy under George Washington. They call him the father of the Navy now, but he was under George Washington during basically the secession from England. So
yeah.
so I like Black Flag, even though he's not a pirate per se, like it really resonated with me, because I'm like, I just feel like I belong at sea or something. And it was a big tradition on that side of my family, because everybody was like naval officers and stuff like that. So like, oh my God, I love Black Flag so much.
When I hear that song Black Flag, it makes me think of that series Black Sails.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good show.
Pretty awesome.
Yep.
All right, so what's your second?
All right. Well, the second album I discovered probably a few months later. But I think, and it was funny at the time when I was buying Iced Earth records for a little bit, I would get them like 2 at a time. And I actually bought this record, and
Woo!
I think it's the first record all in the same day.
Wow.
But now, the thing about this record, as I'm gonna put that down, was when I bought that album, I was going through a really difficult and kind of dark time in my life, and I didn't really know which way was up, which down, was sideways, what was real, what was fake. I had went from being, a steady church goer to even questioning my faith, wondering if it was all really real, if it was even like, was I following something that was made up or something? You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
Was I gullible and stupid, at the same time, and I don't know. That album just spoke to me in ways that no other album did at the time. And you had songs like The Dark Saga and I Died for You, and I kind of,
oh my God, yes,
kind of like every time I hear that song, it reminds me of my first ex, and it's kind of like and then probably my favorite song on the whole album is A Question of Heaven at the end of it, because like I said at the time,
I know.
I was questioning everything, and so it kind of pulled me through a really difficult time, and I've told people, and I'm not ashamed to say this, without this record, I don't know if I'd be here.
I can that resonates with me pretty hardcore.
And just the music in itself, I don't know what it was with that album, but it was a combination of music, lyrics, and everything above. It just well, you pretty much tore that rope up. But anyway,
dog.
Anyone wondering what I'm doing, I'm talking to my dog.
You need your support. Boy. You need your support animal,
Yeah, my boy Waylon. But anyway, yeah. So that album really spoke to me in, like I said, ways that no other album did at the time, and it's a great record. I think it's one of sometimes I think Dark Side, even though it's the second album with Matt, and most people discovered Matt, I think, through Burn Offerings. But to
Yes,
me,
yeah.
I think quit scratching. Sorry about that, guys.
It's
Um,
okay.
anyway, I don't know. Sometimes, like like you hear people talk about like Something Wicked and some of those other records and stuff that he was on. Sometimes I think Dark Saga don't get the love that it should get, and
Oh,
man, it's a great record.
I mean, well, this is gonna you're either gonna hate me or you're gonna like me because my second most influential album is also Dark Saga.
Great,
Um,
that's awesome.
uh, to be honest with you, it almost had the opposite effect. Well, I mean, not the opposite. It helped me through a lot, but like
Yeah.
when it comes to the religious end of it, it's gonna
Hmm.
because I didn't know when I first heard the song, and not to sound like an idiot, I didn't know it was based off the whole Spawn, you
Yeah.
know, comic book. I had no idea, but when I heard The Hunter separately, and
Hmm.
I was going through their discography, and this was after everything had happened with John, actually.
Yeah.
And I had heard the songs before, but it's just like I was hearing them like with a whole new lens, with like whole new set of ears or something.
Yeah.
And when I heard The Hunter for the first time, I felt like Jesus was tapping me on the shoulder
Yeah.
and saying I needed to help this man for some reason. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a tribute band right now. And
Yep.
that's what did it for me. But
Nice.
on top of it, it's just like the track listings, like everything on there, like, even the beginning, like the beginning of the album, the song Dark Saga, it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, you know?
Yep.
Um, and the whole government corruption thing and like
Yep.
Violate, like that song really helped me come into my own as a singer. Like I've always been a singer, but like when I started singing a lot of those songs live, like
Yeah.
I actually almost like made my own vocal line
Yeah.
for Violate, like, and Question of Heaven. I decided this is going to be like our big Christmas finale, even
Yeah.
though it's like
Yep.
kind of like a paganistic sort of
Yeah.
dystopian thing. I was like, I want to make this our beautiful Christmas, and because
Yep.
we did a Christmas party when we premiered our show, and I was like, this is
Oh,
our big
nice.
Christmas song, and it just people were like, like there were some people I heard, like I didn't see, but a couple of my
Mm.
friends said, oh, I was crying at the end of that song, like
Yeah.
a Question of Heaven. I was like, well, I think we did our job then.
Yeah. Yep.
But
And
beautiful album.
there was one last thing I was going to say too.
Sure.
Was like with Slave to the Dark. It kind of that title alone. It kind of makes you think like, once you like find yourself in that darkness, it's almost like you do become a slave to it in a way. And it's like it's almost kind of like that scene in Shawshank Redemption when they found out that a guy, Brooks Hadley, had killed himself or whatever, and the guy was like, "I couldn't believe he did that." And he said, "Well, the thing with Brooks was he was institutionalized." And he goes, "What do you mean by institutionalized?" He's like, "Institutionalized is like when you first get here, these walls, you hate them." He's like, "Then you get used to them, and then you hear long enough, it's like you almost get to depend on them or whatever, right?" And he's like, "Oh, I could never become institutionalized." And he's like, "You say that now or whatever it is, right?" And it's kind of like that in the way. It's almost like an institution in a way. It's almost like you get used to that darkness, that loneliness, that depression or whatever, and it's just like, it almost like it becomes you in a way to a certain extent.
Amen. Amen. That I can understand where you're coming from with that. And
Yeah.
I've covered that song too, and that was like I felt that one very much emotionally when I was singing it too. Um just from like that perspective, I can't sing music that I can't feel anything about, and it feels like no matter what the Iced Earth song is, like there's just something, extra to feel. But that one especially, I
Yeah.
agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And let's get my third one ready so you could do your third one.
All right. All right. Well, my third one is the debut.
Hell yeah.
And I'll take actually. I can't
It's
do
such
it
a good
now.
album. I love When the
Yeah.
Night Falls on that so much too. I love
And
everything on it.
for those of you what's this down here is I actually started putting the CDs inside of my vinyl so to help with my storage. But
Excellent
I
idea.
love that's the cover that they reissued. That's not the original cover, and I think that cover is just so badass, right?
It
I even
is.
think it's better than the original. I did it one time, and I don't know why I can't find it, but I had the actual original American release with the Fallen Angel on it.
Yeah.
Version, the CD. Never had the vinyl, but that album there actually, you know, that album actually made me sort of kind of reappreciate some of the early thrash metal, you know, just by hearing, because you know when you first like people don't understand, like, and I've heard people like talk about like, oh, the first album's not that great, the vocals, the whatever it is, and I was like, you don't understand, that album was right for the time. That album was just, you know, it was like, you know, Gene, that music, that album, it was just perfect. It fit so great. And I actually told Gene here a little while back because I was talking to him about some Jacob Wells stuff. And I told him, I said, you know, one of my favorite parts on that whole record, and he goes, is in your song, Written on the Walls, when he says, as I lay here, freezing veins of ice, what will be for me? What will be the price, or whatever? And just how he does that, and it's kind of like that sinister, like the way he does it. I was like, dude, it just freaks me out every time I hear that. I just love that.
You know, Gene really reminds me of like King Diamond as a vocalist, which isn't, he's an excellent vocalist, you know, and Gene is an excellent vocalist as well. And I think the vocals are great on that. And honestly, I kind of went through the journey. Like I did listen to varied songs, but I decided I was going to go through the journey and like listen to each album, you know, the way they should have been heard, the way they were released. But I started with like Days of Purgatory, and I'm like, I really love this stuff, like, you know, and I, you know, and my bass player's like, well, Iced Earth isn't really like this, like that much, but you know, it's like the early days of thrash. You know, I've actually seen some like old school video of like the original lineup even too, and it you know, like with Purgatory and with like the original Iced Earth album, it's just like that stuff is some really innovative stuff for the time.
Yeah.
It's
And
great.
like
He was right
I
on
love
point. John was on point with that stuff.
Yeah. I love that video colors.
Yeah.
Yep. That is just so cool, like how they done that. And I know, I mean, it is, you know, when you think with the budgets and stuff nowadays, what people can do with videos and stuff, but that video is just so cool. I don't think they could have made that video any cooler in a way.
Yeah.
It was like down and dirty, and it was gritty, and it was thrash metal, and it was everything right about it.
It absolutely is freaking awesome. I'm just quickly, like I told you, I had to do that soup thing for my kid.
Oh, that's fine.
And then I can reveal my third.
Awesome.
I think he sounds like he's feeling pretty good though, because he's talking to friends. I guess are you talking to somebody online? Here's your soup. Love you. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
He had a little tummy ache earlier, so I just wanted to make sure he was good.
That's good.
He agreed to some soup, so I said, okay, I'll make it.
Nice. Oh, is that a Demons and Wizards shirt? Oh, that's cool.
It is. Isn't this awesome?
Oh, nice.
They should still have it on the website, I think.
Okay. Oh,
maybe it's on sale.
Cool.
I think it was only $25 for this too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get a lot of compliments on it. It's actually funny because, like, I feel like I'm trolling people all of the time because I have like these big poofy skirts that I'm wearing and stuff. And everyone's like, "Wow, you look so beautiful!" And I'm like, "Do you see the Queen of England is eating a baby?" Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm trolling, but
I know, right?
I hope this isn't going to be too generic for people. Forgive me if it is. I'm still somewhat new to this, but I'm not really that new to this. I've been dealing with this I've been listening to Iced Earth since into Incorruptible, which is like 2017, I believe. So, I picked Something Wicked. And the reason I picked Something Wicked is because Burning Times really resonates with me. Melancholy really resonates with me. Blessed Are You. 1776. I really love 1776. I feel like it almost belongs on Glorious Burden, and I forget sometimes that it's not.
Yeah.
But like, that's like every time I think about that song, I actually was hoping my tribute band would play it live and I could just lead everybody. Like, obviously now he's free, so it's like whatever. I was hoping I'd be able to like lead people going, "Free Jon Schaffer" during the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's just so many things watching over me. And always like, I know it's about friends, but like my dad was my best friend, so I think about him. And sorry guys if it's too generic, but
Oh no,
my top
that's
three
a
are
great
different
album
than my
too.
influential three. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, like I like that album too, and it's got some really good songs on it. I don't know, it just didn't hit me like some of the other records did, but doesn't not make it a great record though, because there's some really good songs on that. And
sure,
I
maybe
like
I'm just worried that people are going to be like, "There's too many hits on it" or something.
yeah. No, but one of the funny things about it is like one of my favorite songs on that album is called Blessed Are You.
Yes, I
And
love that song.
one of the original names I thought about having for the podcast, because I actually come out of that song, was gonna be called Children of the Night.
Yeah, that would have been good too.
Yeah.
I think Podcast of the Wicked rolls off better though.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Children of the Night sounds more like a vampire podcast or something, in a way.
I don't know why, but it reminds me of, I know it's not a Dio song, but I keep thinking of Rock and Roll Children by Dio instead of Children of the Night when I hear that for some reason.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And then there's, Maiden has that song Children of the Damned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one works. Podcast of the Wicked works great. So,
and speaking of 1776, I think that would have been a cool track to put on like Sons of Liberty, maybe as like a bonus track or something.
Well, yeah, like a jam of it or something, or like a new
or maybe like a re-record of it or something.
It's just to me it's just so Jon, like it's not necessary. Like, I know Jon is like the Iced Earth guy, but like it's just like I don't. When I hear 1776, I think of it as a Jon Schaffer solo song. So
if we ever get Jon on here, one of the questions I wanted to ask him was that song ever meant to be an instrumental, or was it meant to be like something else, and the lyrics never come for it or something?
Did you ever see? I have to find it. Like in the beginning of this whole journey, some guy sent me a video of them jamming, like basically in a living room. And it's with like it's like with the Gene lineup.
Yeah.
And they're playing 1776.
Yeah.
So he must have had it for a while. Like I don't. My opinion is that it was supposed to be an instrumental, but maybe I'm not right. I don't know. Just for my Iced Earth analysis.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's cool the way it is. I mean, it's
yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I always think, oh, isn't this off of, like, I don't know. My brain always just thinks it belonged on Glorious Burden, and it is showing up, before Glorious Burden. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep.
I'm so surprised that our second one was the same album
Oh,
too. So.
well, I'm not, in a way, I'm not surprised because, like I said, I mean, sometimes I think those records like that, it's just the songs. I mean, it's just like that whole, just concept and everything is just, when you actually watch the Spawn movie, and then you kind of like put the Iced Earth record with it, it actually makes like totally sense, And so,
Yeah, I mean, they should have totally used the whole
yeah,
album as the soundtrack. I think that would have been
that
awesome.
would have been cool if they could have made a deal out for something like that. That would have been really, I think,
A
that
good
probably
friend
would
of
have put
mine
Iced
told
Earth over.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh no, you could.
A good friend of mine told me that the first time he ever heard of Iced Earth was when Dark Saga came out, and he saw the ad for Dark Saga in the back of a comic book.
Yeah.
That was all I was going to say.
Well, see, actually, what I don't know if you know this or not, but it was actually supposed to be. They were supposed to have done a deal with McFarlane where they were going to release, like, I think it was the Spawn action figure, like in the US or something as a thing, and it was supposed to package the CD with their action figure or something, and then Century Media wanted a cut of it or something, and then it fucked everything up or something. You
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
I think Century Media got in the way of like the album situation,
Yeah.
like too, like for it being a part of the soundtrack. I mean, how stupid. But that's what I heard. I feel like I heard that. Maybe I heard him say that on Podcast and Stone,
Yeah, I
or
think it was Podcasting Stone, I think.
he seemed very, very candid with Chuck and Jason, and
Yeah.
that was really good. Those interviews were so great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. But I like, and I think it's cool too that, like, with having, I don't know if you know this or not, but, well, not too many people do, but I write poetry and I write, stuff and everything, and I've actually had a couple songs now that Gene has recorded and put on his albums.
wow!
Yeah, and so I got one.
Congratulations!
Yeah, I've got one off of their Climb album called Through All These Tears, and then there's another one that I wrote called Carolina Breeze that he put on an EP or whatever. And I just sent him some lyrics yesterday actually, and so I don't know if anything will come of that or whatever, but
Wow, that's
yeah.
excellent. I didn't know you were a lyricist. Maybe I'll hit you up when I'm having problems.
All right.
That's
But
really cool. The first one you said,
actually,
what
I've
was the
got
first one called? Because you cut out when you said it. It was Through All These Tears?
Through All These Tears. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
I actually, speaking of that though, I actually have a song that I wrote back when I was in high school, and it was originally called Medieval Times, right?
Okay.
And then it actually, over the years, I changed it. Actually added it. It was funny. I wrote the last part first, and then
Okay.
over the years, it kind of become like a 3-part trilogy, almost like Gettysburg in a way.
Nice.
But it and I changed it to like the Enforcers of Steel, but it's like it's a whole metal thing of about where it's like you have this evil like warlord dude, and he's like over this country, and he just like goes, like, he has no mercy on his on like the peasants and stuff like that of his country, and he just like goes in and like ransacks their villages and stuff, like takes their food and all that stuff. And so like the first part of it's called like I think Land Ruled by a Warlord, and then the second part of the trilogy is called the Rise of a King or whatever it is, and it's like, and it talks about where a young boy, this young boy who's had enough, and it's almost kind of like the King Arthur story almost in a way,
Okay.
and where the boy grows up and he gets that kind of fighting age, and he's like, so it's time to stand up to the evil king or whatever it is, and
Okay.
so it's like so basically he kind of raises an army, and then then the last part of it's just called the battle, and it talks about where it's like they write like the first part of the song, and it says the first verse starts off with the thundering of, you can hear the thundering of hoofs in the distance, and you can smell the horse's breath, and through the gates of the kingdom rides death or whatever. And it's just, and the whole time I've always had like hearing this galloping thing in the beginning of that song when you can like come. So it was, yeah, I've never had any, I've never, I mean, it's in my poetry book that I put out a few years ago. But I've always said, if somebody really wanted to make a metal anthem out of it, it'd be fucking really cool. But
That is really
so,
fucking cool, man.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a songwriter myself. I have a couple of albums and stuff, but I'm really hoping to actually just get the tribute band up and running again, just because I feel like I can write any time. Like I feel like now's the time to strike, and I really hope I can find some guitarists in the New York, New Jersey area, because
Yeah.
I'll say this much. I made a decent amount. We were making a decent amount of money as a tribute
Yeah.
band for Iced Earth, which is really bizarre. Well, it's not that bizarre, but it was so bizarre given the stupid media coverage.
Yeah.
But then I had people literally traveling from like 8 to 10 hours away, depending on where they were coming from, to a local club in New Jersey to see an Iced Earth tribute band.
Nice.
Because they really want to see Jon out there, and they really like Iced Earth, and
Yeah.
pretty interesting stuff. So I really hope I could get that going again. I have $1,000 a band offers if anybody's interested. So that would mean, I guess, if there's 5 of us, I think that's about 200 a piece. Yeah, it's 200 a piece.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Anyway, just a little promo or plug or something, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so I really think, and that's cool. And I think having like a tribute band like that is really cool, because it's just a way to pay homage to those people, those bands that you love or whatever.
I've never been much of like, I love seeing tribute bands. It's not I just never aspired to have a tribute band until I heard what happened with Jon, and I just said, well, this music can't die. And I get a lot of compliments even from people like around here that are like, they're like purists. They just want to write music, but they go, well, yeah, but an Iced Earth tribute band is different than a regular tribute band. They have that in my head. So
yeah. For those of you that don't know, Blood Pollution, the ultimate Steel Dragon cover band.
Oh my god. Have you ever heard Tim Ripper Owens make jokes about how it was like loosely based off of his life, but really he's made jokes on stage about that, and I'm like, that's hysterical.
I think I heard him mention that one time on Headbangers Ball. I think there was an episode that I think him and Jon done together, and because they were I think they were releasing the video for The Reckoning.
Okay.
And
that's awesome.
And I heard Tim talk about that or something. Yep.
It's just so crazy, like, but you think like maybe they would have like asked his input or something.
Yep.
Like what actually happened in your life?
Yep.
Maybe we could make this like based off of a real story or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always joke because like, I think I might have told you privately, but I'll just say, I'm not going to say what band it is, but there's a band around here that claims they're like Steel Dragon. And I go,
yeah.
Oh, wait, but you're the lead singer. Do you really want to be fired from your own band? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Do you want to be replaced by Ripper Owens? Like,
I know, right?
That was my joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But oh my god, incredible.
Yeah.
It was just funny. Sorry.
Oh no, that's cool. I mean, yeah,
So we're gonna skip next week because of Thanksgiving.
yeah.
But
And
next
then
week I'm gonna be doing the reading of the transcripts. I'm supposed to get them on Thanksgiving, guys. So that'll be over on my YouTube, Rosebud1313, I'm pretty sure. If anything changes, I'll put it all in the groups. And then the week after, now you could say, like, you could tell us.
okay, the week after, which would be the week of December the 6th, which would be that Friday, we're supposed to have a special guest on Podcast of the Wicked. And I know this is one y'all guys have been waiting on, so this would be really cool. And I'm excited about having this person on or whatever. So it's going to be really cool.
I'm pumped. I'm
Yeah.
excited. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's, pretty much it. Do you want to cover anything else?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I was going to kind of I wasn't going to drag this episode out tonight because, I mean, just like stuff, we both have stuff to do and stuff. And plus, I just kind of figured, this would kind of be an easy topic to get another episode out and then surprise everybody with the episode in 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, you guys are going to be thrilled.
Yeah. Y'all definitely going to have to tune in for that one. So, yep.
Well, I guess, have a good night, guys, and keep
All right.
rocking.
Yeah. And y'all guys take care. Thank you again for watching. Thanks for subscribing and just checking it out. And please spread the word.
Yeah. Hit the subscribe button below.
Yep.
And
Oh, yeah.
we'll see you soon.
All right. Well, you have a good night.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Oops.